esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Guys, welcome back. Map 2, and this is Inferno. It is Navi's choice. Of course, Cobblestone was FlipSide's, believe it or not, and that puts us in a really tight position right now, especially FlipSide in a very tight position. we're not in that tight of a position. I think we're fine.
No, I think we're going to survive regardless of what happens.
We might.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, FlipSide in all kinds of trouble right now. Going into Navi's map pick, Inferno is a map that we know Navi are strong on. It's not to say that FlipSide don't know what to do on Inferno at all, but when you go through a beating like that on your own map pick, yeah, like, how do you pick yourself up?
And again, I kind of alluded to it at the start, and we've all alluded to it throughout the weekend, is that FlipSide, when they get on the back foot, there are issues within the team that we've discussed. Simple getting a little bit, you know,
emotional.
Vocal. Emotional is a great word. Vocal, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and World Edit can tend to crumble a little bit too. They need to hold it together. Blade needs to keep them in this, and they need to get off to a better start. They got that pistol. They lost the Hiko. They lost the first gun. They never really gave themselves a chance. They nearly brought it back, which I would have given them full credit for if they did, but it never amounted to much. And Inferno's, I mean, this is, I think, even harder. This is Guardians' like home turf. This and Mirage are like Guardians' home turf, in my opinion. Yeah. And like their T side to get that rolling against Guardian, if he gets like the op out early enough, like, come on, this is going to be so hard for FlipSide to work with.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely hard. And you know, we talked about it time and time again when FlipSide plays. For FlipSide to win, Simple needs to have an amazing game.
And his T side op, I will say, in fact, we're going to see probably the two best T-side oppers in the world on this map right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because Simple is capable of picking up a T-side op on Inferno and making space with it. Yeah, likewise, Guardian can do the same.
I mean, we saw it constantly when they played, when FlipSide did play Inferno, I think it was day 2, actually, yeah, yesterday. You'd see him, it doesn't really matter where he goes, he can go up mid, shoot for picks either in arch or quad, or he oftentimes goes up towards B to find that enter pick, and he'll actually, you know, stay through that pop flash that comes over and just, like, take it like a man and go for that shot. And more than often, he's successful with it. And even though FlipSide's executions from what we've seen on Inferno hasn't been the most perfect thing on Earth, it's still worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the big thing for them. It's still working even though their executions are pretty poor. So if they tighten up that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are a little bit better today, that, you know, that's going to do a lot for them. So hopefully they're going to be in a situation where they can get off to a hot start, because I think they definitely need it.
The other thing that we got to look into is the banana control. I mean, Anders talks about it all the time, how that one person that holds banana, even though it's over toward B, actually dictates what goes on at A as well. Because if you can get a deep smoke down, you get one defender in there, and then you can rotate the second player off. Now you can have 4 toward A. But so basically, if the CTs have banana, they can confidently stay A because they don't. They have to get banana in order to go B. There's only one choke point. So now they can just sit tight at A. They don't have to over-rotate or overthink it. They don't even need that much information because they haven't seen them anywhere. So likewise, though, if Navi, let's say they're on the T side, or FlipSide, they're on the T side, they can take the T's take banana. Then they actually do have to start leading that player off of Archway back towards Speedway, CT spawn, look for an early rotation, just to be sure, right? So banana means a ton in terms of control on this
And
map.
on the CT side, FlipSide kind of already play that way. When Simple gets an op, he'll normally play aggressive towards middle from Arch side at the very beginning, then fall back to a very passive position by connector, and obviously be a fairly close, you know, distance to that B bomb site. What I'm really hoping to see from Navi on their CT side is less aggression on that banana area.
Well, they're already underway. Excuse me.
Time to knife it out.
Will start, and this will be my last chance potentially to do a knife round. So I'm going to go for it. Already they're coming in with a quick swing here. Simple's going to get one already on Flamey, but Na'Vi comes back as always. And again, they're going to have their, that was faster than my fast round. I couldn't even get into it. There was no flow. There was no M&M. But Na'Vi's going to get double knife round, double CT start. And again, this comes back to the point we just made. FlipSid really need to respond. And they need, again, another pistol, which they got, but they need to avoid the eco this time.
Yeah, that's pretty much the name of the game right now. Wouldn't be too surprised if FlipSid do get off to a good start. Like, they could easily be up 5-0, but they just have to make sure that they keep the pressure on Na'Vi. And on Na'Vi, I think they just have to make sure that they don't stress out, they don't give up too easy frags, because FlipSid are definitely capable of working with that. So for me, Na'Vi, just play it cool and calm the entire way. Just be collected in what you do. Don't push out aggressively in banana and die over and over again. And I think they might be fine.
So pistol's going to go live. Right now, Markelov. Okay, does have
quite a few nades actually.
Yeah,
picked
that's what I was
up
going to say. I thought we were
FlipSid.
going to get another restart there for whatever reason. I thought they were retyping it, but we are going to go live. So it is going to be a smoke nade. Now they're counting on no armor for that. He does actually get Edward, but Edward has armor, and it doesn't do a lot of damage. And they've already used the flash, and they've already used one smoke now for Markelov as well, so they're fully committing right now onto this B push from Na'Vi's side, or rather from FlipSide's side, but Na'Vi has Flamey, and they don't use the smoke on the choke point, and Flamey, he's all they need. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knock him down, line him up, doesn't even matter. What a start to the round for him. And World Edit, is it going to be an ace? No, he'll deny him of that, but Edward, he resumes position, and as a result of those kills, they've got him trapped inside banana. They push down middle, and World Edit, they may even go for the knife. Gets two. Wow,
what's happening?
For the watch, and Guardian, he gets World Edit in return. At least he gets some money out of that. But Na'Vi, they'll start it off 1-0.
There we go. So Na'Vi continue where they left off on Cobble. And whoever threw that nade from FlipSid needs to go back on a private server and just throw that spawn smoke a couple of more times, because Flamey got all the space in the world. Jesus Christ. Well, Na'Vi get off to that hot start. So already FlipSid, you know, getting out of the bed with the wrong foot. They're actually kind of like semi-forcing. Simple has not bought Kevlar, but he bought a Deagle, and then you have 3 guys buying Tech 9's P250 and armor. So the buys are kind of all over the place here. And that tells me that they might want to, since not everyone is actually forced up, that they might want to try for a force buy.
Well, good fun had in the first round. Loose will go passive, does spot Blade lurking in the doorway. Blade falls back a little bit. Decent crossfire as well with Guardian.
Not many nades for Na'Vi though, so they could get caught out here.
Nade does come from Zeus, and he gets the first on Blade. Markelov gets him back. Guardian did find Simple. He'll go on the retreat. They'll play passive with Edward inside the pit. But what a shot from World Edit on that Deagle. And now Edward, with only a P90, has to hold pit. He's already spotted. If he loses this, it's an easy bomb plant, but he's not going to. How many bullets? Doesn't matter.
He's got 50 of them. He can afford to miss a couple. And that works out nicely for Na'Vi in the end, but as you said, that could have been very, very cost efficient for FlipSid. They could have gotten a plant there if Edward goes down, and all of a sudden you're talking about a retake situation. And we've seen what FlipSid are able to do with pistols from time to time. And well, they're not going to go for the force buy, probably because they didn't get that planning, and they're just going to have 2 more Deagles on Simple and World Edit.
Molotov, the first one in place to slow them down. Seized will double that. A little bit overlapping, so they won't get the full duration, but
yeah, and if you're, well, yeah, Na'Vi are already rotated with 3 people over towards the B bomb side, and this I don't like.
That's aggressive from Seized. Simple makes him pay for it, but Zeus is behind the sandbags, and now Flamey arrives, has that M4. Makes it work. So they only lose Seized, and you're right, a little bit of an aggressive play, overextension from him, but good recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, like, they actually do get the trade kills, but they put themselves in a situation where they unnecessarily could allow FlipSid to get into that B bomb side. Even though Flamey has rotated, I don't think there's any point for them to actually take that unnecessary risk instead of just holding back and having 3 people in a crossfire while FlipSid are basically running into you without any nades to work with. And the aggressive smoke comes out from Na'Vi down in Banana, but FlipSid are already through, and Guardian with that op starts things off onto Blade.
Give up the first pick. World Edit nearly responds, doesn't land it. Keeps spamming, hoping that he stayed in behind the car, but Flamey didn't. He retreated over to the sandbag, so they'll go for a crossfire position again. And they don't have any Molotovs right now on the T side to force him out of that position either.
And I like this move from Na'Vi. Just play passively now.
Late smoke on Banana again, keeping that control as it enables them to leave 2 players on the arch. They have got Edward in a position where he could leave early if he needed to, but he hasn't headed towards Speedway. He's still at top mid right now as it stands, and Guardian has the op. He wants to get a little bit more aggressive. World Edit does hold the angle. From the T perspective, he actually takes some damage from that, down to 11 as it clips the wall. Guardian's bullet through the edge. Zeus still in the cubby. Guardian actually gets the price as Simple finds him with the AK. Zeus responds though, as the crossfire was set. A little bit late to save his teammate, but still gives them the man advantage. Now another smoke going to come off. That's going to cover Zeus, make him force back to a passive position in front of Moto. Edward's still using this P90 though. This time he's on the balcony a little bit closer up, so Markelov's going to have even more problems. As he checks this, they have smoked off the lower part of the pit, so it should isolate his position a little more, but Zeus, he's got the kill, and Bondic, he can't do anything against Edward.
And a pretty easy cleanup actually for Na'Vi. FlipSid used so much time around that middle area without getting anything done. They're not getting a favorable trade, and they just remain 1 man down the entire time. So Na'Vi never really have to bail on that B bomb site. They can still have 3 men towards A, and from there on out, it's a pretty easy round for Na'Vi to win. FlipSid ended up using pretty much all of their nades before they've actually gotten onto a site.
And World Edit. Luckily, that nade bounced on the opposite side of the pillar because that could have been detrimental to him. Now the fire lands. He's able to escape, still on 76, but we're in a similar situation as we were. They lost pistol. Last time it was an eco, and the first gun round again, though, goes against them. Na'Vi have a nice start, nice little cushy lead to work with. Blade, though, does catch Flamey. That's 1 pistol kill, and Seas gets back into Blade, but he's very low on HP and gets caught trying to deploy the smoke grenade to give himself the exit. World Edit capitalizes, seizes the opportunity, also picks up an M4, so they've got at least 1 rifle to work with. Rotations have come over. Zeus is smoked off, but Guardian's still alive and well at spools, looks for the angle with the op. Needs to be aware that they have got 1 player into water already. That's World Edit, and he's actually crouched just enough that he can't be seen and pops up, turns around, gets the kill. Simple finds Guardian. 2 rifles now up. Simple does drop. Zeus recovering the round. He's still in a 1-on-2, and smartly FlipSid have bailed out and headed over to A based on these rotation calls. They'll only have 1 AK for Bondic over in that position because they weren't able to get anything else because all the other guns were dropped inside the B site. But they've got decent post-plant situations set up before the rotation even comes.
Yeah, this should be a pretty much impossible situation for Zeus to do anything at all. I think he might be actually better off just saving. Because there's no way he's actually going to clear out all the position he needs to do before and still have time to defuse it.
And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He'll go for the save.
And again, that's a round Na'Vi never should lose, and that's simply because they continue with that aggression in Banana. They did it versus G-Play time and time again. It never really worked out, and now they just give up an unnecessary round. And this is a perfect chance for FlipSid to get into it again. They had full control over this game so far, and now you're going to give them the opportunity for Simple to get an op and potentially a double op setup if World Edit wants to go with it as well. They have the money for it.
World Edit does, Simple doesn't.
Yeah.
Sticks to the AK, so they are going to stick to tradition here and let World Edit go for the op on Inferno. Simple's call based on confidence, but you make a really good point about getting caught by G-Play. Flamey went down in a very similar situation 3 or 4 times, trying to escape from sandbags.
Yeah, and again, they keep going aggressive. I mean, even if it eventually works for Na'Vi, I'm not a big fan of this type of play.
Flamey this time does have his own pop flash preset against the fence if he needs it. A little bit slower from FlipSid where they have guns out. Yeah. They're going to play for the pick.
I'm more of a fan of having Guardian here simply because he can do crazy things.
This is tense. If World Edit takes another step, he's going to be seen. Pop flash was perfect, forces Guardian back, but World Edit can't land the shot. In fact, he takes damage through the wall again from Guardian. Similar to the last gun round at the top of middle. And World Edit's forced to retreat. This deep smoke, here we go. Now they've got control of Banana. Should they choose to stay aggressive? Now you're saying the aggression doesn't work, but if they at least keep control, keep 1 player forward, they can rotate the second and Flamey off quickly.
Yeah, I think that would be the thing. If you could put Guardian up there, and this is a really nice boost for Na'Vi.
Over the smoke, sees, does spot the first, takes down Simple, knows there's more there, but can't find the shot. Guardian finds World Edit meanwhile. And again, they did go for this early rotation, so Flamey's already arrived. They are forced around the corner from the archway as the fire will come out, but they still have full control of pit and the site. And FlipSid have very little to work with, as Guardian's got all the way down Banana behind them at middle, so they're completely pinched. They'll fight their way out with Markelov. Bondic picking up now 2. Does give them a bit of a chance here as he's left in a 1-on-2 situation, but Flamey takes full charge and comes right back at him.
Yeah, now FlipSid's economy all over the place, really. Bondic's the only one who can afford to do anything at all in that. Well, That's not going to help them all too much. They're actually going to, what, they're Simple is buying? No, actually, yeah, that's Bondic buying an AK for Simple.
He did have the most money. So they actually stay even.
Bondic had the most money, but instead of holding on to it himself, he dropped it off for Simple. So Simple used $1,000 for that Kevlar and helmet. But this is just really weird. I mean,
it's just putting a lot of confidence.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, they're showing how much they actually believe in the guy, and you can't really fault them for it. But still, I think they might have been better off just saving completely and then getting an op for him the next round potentially. And in any case, this should be a fairly easy round for Na'Vi, and already Guardian starting things off. And he's been all over the place so far. On
changing his angles quite rapidly. Keeps them guessing. Zeus will push forward. 2 with the SMG. Switches to the pistol. Can he get more? Bondic does respond, but he has slipped down in behind them. So far hasn't been able to do much, but it's Edward who coming back over to the patio and closes out the round.
Yeah. And again, if Na'Vi are going to continue with that aggression towards that B-bomb site, I think it has to be Guardian to be the one person in that role. I think he's the only one you can actually safely leave behind. As you said, you know, you want to get control over Banana and then kind of rotate the second guy from B off towards A so you can stack up on towards A. If you're going to do that for Na'Vi, you have to put Guardian as the sole guy on B. Otherwise, if you're going to play with Seized and Flamey towards that B-bomb side, just play it passively.
Guardian looking for a shot down mid.
Yeah, and no ops. No ops on FlipSid this time around. So I would have been more in favor of having an op here for Simple or World Edit instead of dropping that single AK.
Right, they could have swapped, gone AK, fought by Simple, thrown to Bondic, and AK, or excuse me, op the other way.
Yep.
But they haven't found that many openings with it. I mean, we're at 6-1. The op hasn't really come on fire for them in any way, shape, or form. Bondic, though, will use the rifle to advantage. They have Zeus also inside apartments, but he can't get the double. It's traded by Bondic, and Blade with the nade kill on Guardian. They finally have a site to work with. Bombs down at the bottom of middle, though, needs to hurry up because Na'Vi's going to go for the flank push rather than the rotation through CT. Try and catch them off guard and not get stopped at the archway.
Yeah, and I don't really think Na'Vi are going to go for this. If anything, they're going to set up for exit kills because they know that FlipSid can still take a lot of damage from losing weapons in a round like this. And they realize the fact that a retake in a 2v4 situation when you're that far away when the bomb goes down, not very likely. They're actually taking very passive positions. They don't want to lose their weapons at all. I guess Flamey might actually be a tiny bit more aggressive. No, it just seems like they're just hanging back. I mean, I feel it could have been completely okay for them to actually be a tiny bit more aggressive to try to pick people off. But this might work as well because FlipSid are just coming running at them.
Flamey does get one on the exit. Falls back immediately knowing that one is not alone. The many-faced god was coming.
Well, at least FlipSid pick up a round, and that's largely due to Bondic and those 2 frags and apps right there. Obviously, Guardian getting tagged up at the beginning of the round didn't hurt either, so Blade gets that nade kill in Arch. And again, the smoke for bottom of Banana is put down.
Double bounce to do it immediately, though. FlipSid's already smoked off the top of middle on Arch side. How do Na'Vi respond? They bring Zeus back away from Arch, rotate him over inside the site. So passive hold on the truck side. Guardian still aggressive on Arch. A potential exploitation of getting at least the top of middle in favor of FlipSid is possible if they can get toward Boiler and continue to smoke off Guardian. They could go for a wrap play. Again, it doesn't give them a whole lot more opportunity in the site as Zeus is there. Meanwhile, Banana's entirely against them. So although you were calling out the aggression, and I agree, they were over-aggressive when Banana wasn't in control, but once they've got control, the aggression's actually working for them because, again, they're containing FlipSid entirely.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you don't want to stay aggressive if you're actually running into people. That's
once
the big
you've
thing.
lost
because
it, you've
FlipSid are now not even contesting Banana at all. They're just kind of giving it up.
Guardian's gone back. World Edit beats them this time. We haven't seen him win that exchange too many times, so first pick does go the way of the op on FlipSid. This will force a rotation back out. In fact, no one was in B for a brief moment in time.
Yeah, they actually did the setup that we were hoping for Na'Vi with having Guardian as a sole guy towards B, and I think that's perfectly fine to keep it that way, even though it goes down to World Edit, and that's series.
Double rotation, though, and they may be aware of this because FlipSid's going to get Blade, and the second player actually showed himself before the kill cam was gone. So they'll know there was 2 there, and as a result, they're already pushing on toward the truck, but double pit play. Edward already down. Zeus, he may be able to get one back. Awkwardly enough, he has to switch guns because he uses so many bullets, so World Edit catches him, and Simple now taking down Seized, leaves only Flamey left. Bombs planted, 1 on 3.
Yeah, Flamey's all about saving that weapon, and well, I still think they would have been okay with just sending Flamey over there to kind of grab the spot of Guardian. I think that that's all they had to do, because Guardian only spotted one person in Banana, and that was World Edit. And the odds of World Edit kind of just randomly pushing in by himself, not the scariest thing in the world with an op. So I think Flamey would have been perfectly fine just holding off that entire B bomb site by himself and having 3 people towards A. Instead, they do an over-rotation, and we saw that on Cobblestone as well. They had situations where they did over-rotate. They didn't get punished by it that time around, but it would have been much easier to try to hold that off, that attack from FlipSid right there, if they had 3 people.
And look at the situation this brings us in.
Yeah,
because one of the first times in both matches, they have to go for a save on Na'Vi's side.
This is unknown territory for Na'Vi. They do have an op on Guardian, though, and Guardian's probably going to play this aggressive.
World Edit again has his up. You can see Guardian with the X-ray, waiting for that flash to come out. It does catch World Edit, so when Guardian goes out, he smartly falls away. Potentially saves his own life as a result. And now World Edit's going to get aggressive toward Banana because he knows initially if he has the angle, it's his peak and his battle to win at mid, but once it's lost, he then has to retake aggressively against Guardian, so he doesn't even take the fight. Instead, he gets seized. So that's a smart read from World Edit to understand and assess the damage and evaluation that Guardian was going to be holding still.
Right now, FlipSid just taking their time, and this is obviously the smart move. They know that they're going up against an eco, or at least a melee eco. All they know is that Flamey Civ gun last time around. They don't really know what weapon that was, but they're probably assuming it's the op since Flamey was towards that B-bomb side of Guardian. What? There we go. Starts things off, follows up with the kill on Markelov, and all of a sudden it's a favorable position for Na'Vi. They're already rotating people over towards B as well, where the remaining members for FlipSid are. This could get really hairy for FlipSid.
Zeus needs to be careful with this pistol, and Flamey, he's already got Bondic. You said it was going to get hairy. Double that up, they will win it. So it doesn't matter if they save or not. On FlipSid, that's a that's a free kick missed.
That's more like a penalty kick missed.
Yeah, exactly. That's not even a free kick. That's missing an open net. They need to take advantage of those opportunities.
The Guardian, man, he starts it off there, getting those 2 frags, one on Simple, and then following it up on Markelov. And then having, the balls to actually push down mid. Na'Vi were so convinced that the rest of FlipSid were towards B, and Flamey opens things up. And
Flamey going for the op, too. This is not something we normally see because Guardian has one on A, so this is a double op setup. And Flamey does at least get one. Gets countered though, and again staying over aggressive, but recovered by C's, not for long. Simple takes him back down, they'll recover the bomb, but Guardian has arrived. Not anymore, put in the grave by World Edit, and FlipSid, it's down to a one-on-one, and World Edit has bomb. Go for the safe plane. He's actually exposed slightly to the right, so if Edward could spot him.
I don't think he saw Edward though. Or I guess he might have seen his feet as Edward jumped over, but I don't think he actually knows that Edward is in the ruins already.
And it's tense. He does look at the angle now, realizes it late, but now his position's given up. He's trapped in the corner, needs to be aware Flamey's looking for the off angle above. He just has to wait this out. If he can stay alive, stay efficient, he gives himself at least half a chance. He's sticking with the op, even up close. Third miss, he's going to get pushed, and Edward's going to win it. Has the kit and does have the time. He doesn't have the time! Unbelievable! I thought for sure he did. All I could hear was cheering fans, not ticking. I was basing it on the blink, but...
Yeah, that was too careful of an approach, really, from Edward. But obviously it's hard to assess in a situation like that. You don't want to run easily into an op. But yeah, World Edit, man, coming up big in those situations.
Yeah, hats off to him. Got the entry kill, took down Guardian. That was even more important.
Yeah.
And he may have whiffed on a few shots, but he stayed alive. That was the crucial point.
Yeah, and that should have been a very doable situation for Na'Vi because the 2 guys on the B-bomb side come away with that with a favorable trade. They get down 3 people before they go down and lose the bomb side, but that should be okay for them. And now, Na'Vi forcing up here, and this is a massive round. FlipSid could bring it to 6 rounds here.
Wow, the shotgun, though, up close. Edward takes full advantage. Simple does trade it. Na'Vi respond in spades, and it's going to be double for Guardian before Simple does get him back. It gives Zeus a good position. Simple wins that as well. Nice shot by Seized as he slides out, though.
Again, Na'Vi, whenever they're on the brink, they bring it back. And seeing how FlipSid just won one, lost one, or they're back to the economic hellhole. They're going to have to eco now. So instead of actually breaking Na'Vi, they're getting broken themselves. And all of a sudden, instead of having a fairly even first half where we could be looking at like an 8-7 score or 9-6. This is looking very much like Navi could get to double figures.
Rip chicken. But it is Navi to start it off again. And Guardian, very quick shot on Simple. Bondic, last left, only pistol, only Glock, no investment. He will go down. Flawless victory for Navi, but we're getting to the end of the rounds.
Yeah, and Zeus has been really consistent about the fact that he always picks up an SMG whenever he knows they're going up against an eco. Even though he has the money to buy something else, he's always going to go for that SMG and play fairly aggressively as well, just to see if he can get that extra bonus cash going in. Not sure if it's that necessary at this point in the game, but I mean it's a nice idea.
Snade fire already deployed. Simple trapped in the corner, and Seas knows that he wants to take the fight, and as a result, Simple can't escape. He's going to burn alive.
Yeah, that's the first time in a good while we've actually seen FlipSid. Ooh, Blade. That's the first time we've seen FlipSid actually contest Banana early on in a good while, but on the other side of the map, Blade takes out Edward. So we're back to 4-on-4, but Blade does take quite a bit of damage, and it's not like they have a lot to work with. Marklov does have a Colt here and some armor, but
Seas just going to win this battle over on Arch. They've got Zeus there as well. The nade, though, will catch Zeus because he's very low on HP, but the bomb has been dropped. It's recovered now by Bondic, and Seas is going to have to go one-on-one sparring battle with the pistol. And right now, Bondic's actually staying alive a lot longer than it might have been anticipated, but Flamey, he'll come around and bail out his teammate.
So now we do get to double figures, 10 rounds on the board, and I'm so surprised that we haven't seen Simple with an op more than what we have so far. Again, World Edit picks up the op. And again, this is one of the weird things with FlipSid. We don't know if this is Simple saying to himself, like, I'm not going to pick up the op, or if he's actually abiding by Blade's rules. In any case, though, again, Navi with aggressive smoke down, Banana and Guardian, man. Well, that starts things off in a positive way for Navi.
I will show you after this round.
And hopefully, yeah, there we go. Simple picks up the op, and from here on out, this is where FlipSid hopes magic happens.
Guardian with the op. Needs to be aware that they have gotten players inside Boiler. And he's going to go passive.
And look at the aggression from Navi and Banana right now. This is the most aggressive stance.
Again, they're taking this control of Banana, which leaves them more safe on A.
But they haven't rotated anyone off.
That's the interesting aspect of this, because they have normally, and again, it's when Guardian's there, they're going to leave Flamey with a support system.
Yeah, I guess it's because they don't have any needs to work with down in Banana, so that's why they're playing with two people. Guardian, though,
through the smoke.